Rising from the prairie landscape like a great ocean wave, the City of Calgary's Water Centre is a building you don't see every day. Its skin arches up beyond the height of its 4th story to become a protective roof, warding off harsh north winds and sheltering the shimmering glass curtain wall on its south side. Within, employees work in comfort, breathing fresh air and seeing by daylight. It's only natural. The long, narrow building has been constructed with them in mind. Sometimes they congregate in small group private rooms, sometimes on the grand staircase that sweeps the 4 stories, just inside the soft, watery blues and greens of the glass curtain. Both form and function of the building found their beginnings in design charrettes, where the City of Calgary management and up to 30 employees engaged with architects, designers, and engineers to develop the Water Centre using the LEED Canada standard as a guide for the building's design.
We had the employees engaged in decision-making on things like the furniture systems, how furniture was situated in the building.
When we designed it, we looked at the people within the office space and what kind of office space they would desire versus how much building can I build for the money that I have.
There were 3 aspects that were important as we were looking at designing the building from needs from the staff. Natural light, air quality, and great circulation, being able to get to different locations within the building.
If you have access to light and views, studies have shown, and I think we already see this in this building, that you have far less fatigue through the day, and it's a lot easier to get your work done.
It's all about light. It's about not having to have electric light on. It's about people walking up and down stairs. I think it's a very different working environment. I think that's the most important thing.
Well, I feel comfortable in saying the employees have taken ownership of the building.
At the end of the day, you're still dealing with people, and you're still really trying to create kind of a home for them.
In developing a sustainable building, the materials chosen for construction are of critical importance. Factors such as where the materials are sourced from, sustainability, and low levels of volatile organic compounds are all included in the LEED checklist.
We chose to reduce the amount of cement that we actually purchase because cement takes a great deal of energy to produce. So we replaced that with silica fume, which is a byproduct of coal production, and that silica fume is also known as fly ash. And fly ash can replace structural elements easily up to 30%, if not more. We were trying to choose materials like the steel in the building being as high recycled content as possible. Of course, one of the biggest industries to do that is the steel industry, and our rebar was 100% recycled. So we had the comfort of knowing that we're taking the old pop cans of the cars that don't have working parts that have now been constituted into holding up this building, and we haven't harvested new materials in order to get the steel within the building. We're using the LEED rating system to question why we are choosing certain materials because a lot of them give off an off gas known as a volatile organic compound. That volatile organic compound, or VOC, is the presence of a carcinogen off-gassing from the material, like your carpets, like your adhesives, like your paints. We made a conscious choice within the facility to use as low VOC type material as possible. The facility then doesn't have that new car smell. It has a very crisp, clean smell that illustrates that we don't have any materials or particulate floating in the air that would be harmful to the occupants.
With energy a significant factor in the development and operating costs of any new building, and with stringent LEED standards as a guide, the Water Centre was designed to minimize its energy footprint and maximize operational efficiency. More importantly, the building was designed to increase the comfort level of its occupants through clever use of the sun's heat and light and through innovative air handling techniques. The mechanical systems of the building are located under the raised floor system instead of a traditional ceiling supply method. This means the volume of heat necessary to keep the occupants comfortable is reduced by half. And reduced heating requirements have resulted in a lower energy profile for the water center.
We have an easier, less expensive mechanical system for heating and cooling the building. We have a less expensive electrical light system, and overall that has changed the entire energy profile within this facility. And now we can honestly say that we consume 50% less energy than a building of its typical size.
Water conservation was a top priority in the development of the water center. Armed with a desire to be leaders in urban development and with LEED standards marking the way, innovative water utilization techniques abound.
With the unique nature of this building, because of its shape, because of its profile, there is no water storage on the roof like a traditional building. We have reduced over 70% of the wastewater that comes out of this building because direct relationship to how much water we've reduced in part of our consumption.
We're collecting a lot of water in the building, treating it and reusing it to put through for our toilet systems in the building.
The grasses will be rained on anyways. They can reuse the water that we can collect from our unique roof system. We can put it into a simple rain barrel system like we have here, which is also known as a cistern. And we put a concrete box underground and we fill it with water whenever it rains, and that water can then be reused into the garden space and water to the trees overall.
We have no water fountains in the building. Any water that you would like is either through the cafeteria, but in each of the coffee stations we have a water dispenser and an ice maker, so there's energy savings there.
We see a sodded area, a lot of sod in the front garden space. It's not going to remain so. In the next 2 years, we're going to replace the majority of that sod with natural prairie grass plugs. And that's going to reduce our water use even further because the wetness of the season will be reflected in the prairie grass, because prairie grass is brown when it's dry and it's green when it's wet, and it flowers and it fallows itself, and you can do that for several seasons before you need to actually do any real maintenance with it. So we have really reduced our water consumption needs. When you look at even a typical household, it's over 60% of the use is outdoor.
The story is more than just, again, the building itself. It's everything around the building. Because as the utility, we are trying to protect the environment. We are stewards of the environment. But we had workers that are leaving the project with a different attitude about taking a paper cup, throwing it into an excavation. Now it's recycled.
I think we've shown that by making the right decisions, you can build great architecture with regular building budgets. And so I think that's something for the city to be very proud of. They don't have to settle for second-rate architecture ever again.
The legacy of this building will be that it is going to be the first of its kind, and it's going to generate bigger and better buildings. And we're hoping to inspire other architects and engineers to challenge the levels of which have been set here today.